very good evening and a very warm welcome to State of Business on our television. I'm Savindra Jayawardena. Let's look at the top stories for the day. Issues such as the loss of biodiversity, environmental degradation, food security should not be forgotten due to COVID-19. President stresses. The international loans should have been reprofiled, SJB parliamentarian says. News in detail. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa suggests that in addition to today's problems such as conflicts and the COVID-19 pandemic, issues such as the loss of biodiversity, environmental degradation, food security, access to water and climate change are the challenges that will need to be overcome by the younger generation. President Rajapaksa made these observations inaugurating the International Cultural Jamboree organized by the Sri Lanka Scout Association last Friday.
The World Scout movement has helped millions of young people develop vital skills such as leadership, teamwork, resourcefulness, and the ability to overcome various challenges. Such skills become more and more important as the world we live in becomes more and more complex. The challenges that the future will bring may be more difficult to overcome than those of the past. In addition to today's problems such as conflicts and the pandemic, issues such as the loss of biodiversity, environmental degradation, food security, access to water, and climate change are challenges that will need to be overcome in the future.
In the meantime, the debate of the no-confidence motion against Minister of Petroleum Resources and Energy Udaya Gammanpila commenced in Parliament this morning. UNP MP Ranil Wickramasinghe said he will move an amendment to the no-confidence motion and thereby convert into a no-faith motion against the entire cabinet. Here, Justice Minister Ali Sabri defended the Minister Gammanpila.
It was only for a very limited period. The international prices came down to $21 last year during the month of April. Thereafter, it is in an upward trend. Now it has already gone up to about $80 per month. By the time the decision was taken to increase the prices, it was already in about 68. Now it has gone to about 81. So there is no other option other than that. But I must say, as a colleague, I'm very proud of a minister, because in the cabinet I know he had on many occasions had looked at overall holistic view to develop our energy sector. I am grateful, and petroleum sector. In view of that, I would like to mention few of his achievements so far and the proposal. For example, he is developing a new storage tank farm in Trincomalee, and he is also developing a new storage tank farm in Hambantota. Then also developing and upgrading of aviation refueling terminal and existing fuel hydrant system and installation of a fuel hydrant system of CPC at New Apron E in par with Stage 2 development project of Bandaranaike International Airport, Katunayaka. And there are a number of projects he has started. For example, construction of a Jet A transfer pipeline from Muthurajawala to BIA, and construction of a tank farm and associated development at Muthurajawala, and storage tank construction at CPSL, STL, procurement and construction of commissioning of several tanks at Kolonnava installation.
In the meantime, central bank data showed that the bank has sold down 5.6 billion rupees from its treasury bill portfolio, potentially saving $27.6 billion at a peg of 203 to the US dollar. The central bank has bought hundreds of billions from treasury bills by injecting new rupee reserves into bank, boosting loans, investments and consumption above the dollar inflows to the country. The central bank last Friday sold down its treasury bill stock to 911.44 billion rupees from 917.05 billion a week earlier, following a successful treasury bill auction. The central bank offered 56 billion rupees in bills at last week's bill auction and sold all of it, though most came from the 3-month end. During the 5 months to May 2021, the trade deficit was $3.6 billion, up from $3.1 billion in 2019, when the central bank was following deflationary policy settling down its T-bill stock up to July. When the new rupees hit the forex market, the central bank has to sell its dollar reserves to maintain the exchange rate and redeem the rupees to maintain the peg, running down forex reserve on a net basis. The central bank last week raised its ceiling rate by 2 basis points for the treasury bills, which has become the key de facto policy rate through which most of the money was injected to the market in 2020 and 2021. The rate was seen to inject or withdraw money, effectively sterilizing in both directions in recent months, either withdrawing or injecting liquidity. Sri Lanka started the year with 266 billion rupees of excess liquidity, which have been drained through mostly convertibility provided to loan repayments. In 2021, another 45 billion rupees had been injected through a so-called temporary provisional advance, a tool built by the creator of the central bank, Fed money Dr. John Exter, to block permanent injections of rupees. Stay tuned for more news right after this break.
ඇත්තටම උත්තරේ ඇත්ත එකම එක සැබැඳියාවක ගෙදරට වැඩකට ගමනට එකම එක සැබැඳියාවක බැඳෙන මුළු මහත් රටකට. Good morning sir, how can I help?
SLT Mobitel එකම එක සැබැඳියාව.
ඒත් නෑනේ පොළගාවේ නම් තිබුණලු.
මම ගියා එහෙත් ඉවරයි.
කාර් එකයි කෝටි ගොඩයි ටිකට් එකයි දිනුම් දෙකයි සම්පත රත්නවර්ම මාසිකම එකයි.
පරක් වෙලා වාසනාව නැති කරගන්න එපා.
ජාතික ලොතරැයි මණ්ඩලය.
Welcome back after the break. Samagi Jana Balawege parliamentarian Dr. Harsh De Silva laments that the government was not ready to accept the amendments by the opposition on the Port City Bill, which was passed in Parliament recently. At a media briefing held at the SJB head office yesterday, Dr. Harsh De Silva also warned on a bill which is to legitimize the previously undeclared money.
There has been a gazette that has been issued to legitimize monies that have not been declared previously, and apparently it is going to become law soon because they are planning to introduce a bill in the legislature. Now the question is why they are doing it is obviously to get people to bring in undeclared money, particularly foreign currency, into the system, so that they would be able to use that money for essential imports and so on. Now, the other side of the equation is whose money is it? Where is it coming from? How was this money made? Is this drug money? Is this corruption money? Whose money is it? Right? And what is going to happen to our credibility in the eyes of the international community? What about money laundering and counter-terrorism financing laws that we have signed to adhere to? What about the Port City, and is there a connection between the new Port City Commission Act and this Amnesty Act? We don't know, right? And when we try to bring an amendment to the law during the debate of the Port City, we specifically said we have to be very careful about money laundering and counter-terrorism funding issues. And we proposed an amendment, but the government was not willing to accept our amendment.
Moreover, Samagi Jana Balawege parliamentarian Dr. Harsh De Silva also blames the government for not reprofiling the international loans with a discussion with the International Monetary Fund. The parliamentarian said that the government should have controlled the depreciation of the rupee if they took the measures on that day itself.
මම මේ රටේ ණය ප්‍රතිව්‍යුහගත කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා ඉස්සෙල්ලම් පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ කිව්වේ 2020 නොවැම්බර් මාසේ 18 වෙනිදා. මම කිව්වා පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේදී ගිහිල්ලා මේ ණය රීප්‍රොෆයිල් කරන්න. මේක 2021 මැද වෙනකොට අවුලකටපත් වෙනවා. 2022 වෙනකොට ලොකු ගැටලුවකට අපි හිර වෙනවා. 2020 නොවැම්බර් මාසේ 18 වෙනිදා. එදා රුපියල තිබුණේ ඩොලර් එකට සාපේක්ෂව රුපියල් 184.780යි. 184.780යි. දැන් එදා ගිහිල්ලා අපි කතා කරපු විදියට මේ ප්‍රශ්න විසඳගත්තා නම් අද රුපියල සමහර වෙලාවට 180ට විතර ශක්තිමත් වෙලා. දැන් කරේ මොකද්ද? අර කොරෝනා එකට ඉන්ජෙක්ෂන් ගහන්න කිව්වහම නෑ ඒක වැඩක් නෑ පැණිබමු කිව්වා වාගේ මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ කිව්වහම දැන් ගිහිල්ලා විසඳගත්තොත් මේ මහා අර්බුදයකින් ඉදිරියේ එන්න තියෙන බේර ගන්න පුළුවන් කියලා අපිට hina වුණා. මේ මොනවද මේ මිනිස්සු කතා කරන්න කියලා ඇහුවා. අපිට යන්න ඕනේ නෑ කිසි තැනකට අපිට පුළුවන් මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ විසඳ ගන්න කියලා අන්තිමට අද ඩොලර් නෑ අත්‍යවශ්‍ය භාණ්ඩ වලට ගේනවා ඩොලර් නෑ ඩොලර් එක 200 ගණන්.
Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a positive note today. The all-share price index gained 55.6 points to close at 8,022.55 and the S&P SL 20 gained 51.67 points to close at 3,081.94. The turnover was 6.2 billion rupees and over 439 million shares were traded. Up next are forex rates. And that's all news for today. See you tomorrow with State of Business at the usual time. Until then, take care and good night.